Hello everyone and welcome to this video. My name is Benvarmeren, alongside me today for Shoutcasters Saloon is Louis TG Armageddon Behrmann. And in this video I'll be interviewing TG Armageddon in order for everyone to learn a little bit about Louis Behrmann. So welcome here, Louis.
Hey, nice to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you here, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and spend time with you. So first, let's just start out with the first question, and that's going to be: can you tell me and the viewers a little bit about yourself?
So I'm Louis. I'm from Germany.
That sounded
like
hard, man.
what?
Like that was a deep breath. Like, oh, do I have to do it again?
Jesus. Why doesn't the whole world know me yet?
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
So I'm Louis. I'm from Germany. I'm 20 years old. I have been casting since 2014, I think. I started off at Cyber League. Had been there for like 2 years, on and off, because they didn't always have tournaments. And yeah, they kind of died last year. So then I got the opportunity to join Compete League, and I did so as a streamer at first. Then I hosted their finals their analysis on the finals last season, and now I'm head admin. That's like the quickest rise I ever had through anything.
Yeah, man. I know we've been part of the Compete League for so long. You're one of the long-time standing members as well. Like, you've been here since season 1 as well, right?
No. I joined at the beginning of season 2.
Oh, I thought I remembered that you were the streamer for season 1.
No, I was I joined last September, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, it feels like you've been there for so long, because I don't think I can remember a game where you haven't been the streamer, or at least been a part of it behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I guess we already mentioned the second question, which is which role do you fulfill in the broadcast? So I guess we can move on to the third question, which is: which games do you cast?
I'm casting League of Legends. I think exclusively so far. I'd like to join other games at some point, but I really haven't found like a game that really like I even somewhat like wanted to jump off League of Legends at some point, but I really never found a game that really resonated with me. Like
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike. The problem is, first of all, I can't play Counter-Strike. I'm way too bad at it. Like I have the aim of I don't know what, and the reaction speed of the sloth on LSD, as I always like to say. So yeah, not gonna happen. So I have a kind of an entry barrier to, get to know the game and really sort of get the feel why I'm supposed to be excited about certain things. And I think that's one of the most important things about casting. It's not only to know what you're talking about, but to know when you're supposed to be excited.
Yeah, of course. So I do agree with you there. You always need to play the game a little bit in order to at least know some basic stuff about the game. So now that we know that you only cast League of Legends, can you tell me what your favorite things about League of Legends are when you go in to a broadcast as a commentator? Which things do you enjoy the most?
Well, first of all, there's always something to talk about, and I'm really somebody who loves to talk with his co-caster as well. I also have been a solo caster for like an entire year, so there's always something you can talk about in the draft. In a draft phase, you can talk about the picks, the comp, the lane matchup. Later on, you can talk about certain optimization, certain strategies to move forward, comeback opportunities, and obviously what the fights are going. When the fights are going down, you have those as well, talking about what could have been done better, what was done great. you always have multiple options to talk about things. The only thing that I kind of have a problem sometimes with in the flow of the game is if one team is like constantly winning but not finishing out the game. And I think that kind of goes as well with the sort of when you're supposed to be excited thing I mentioned earlier, because as the team that is pushing in, you're not really excited anymore. Yeah, we won. Yeah. So that's not really exciting, but also on the other end of the spectrum, like the other team knows that they probably lost and just throws themselves in there. Maybe sometimes you get a comeback, but that's kind of, dead games are really hard to cast in my opinion.
Well, I do agree with you that there are always things you can talk about. However, I'd like to mention a story that Harry Dr. Evans has told me. And it is that when you and Harry started to cast together, you were always gone for at least half a game because you had to sit there and do admin stuff.
So I was like solo everything at Cyber League at the end because like nobody was there anymore. Like Cyber League is a whole clusterfuck on its own. If you want to jump into it, we can do it after this story. But basically, I was the admin, I was the streamer, I was the play-by-play caster, and so for the first half of the first game, or maybe sometimes even the entire first game, I had to attend to the teams that really, some teams weren't there, so I had to advance people in their brackets. Some teams didn't know how to get the tournament code, or didn't know the rules. Then some people tried to use players that weren't on their roster, and it was a hard time sometimes. Also, I always it also had an impact on my casting because I always had to have the client open, and you know what happens when the game ends, despite you being in the spectator mode, the end screen comes up.
Yeah.
So 3 minutes before the game ended, I always knew who won.
Oh.
So I kind of had to mask that a bit.
No. Oh my god, that sounds horrible. It sounds so crazy. What the hell, dude? How were you able to manage that?
I mean, in the end, I quit because I couldn't. But that was like the worst tournament of my life. Like sometimes there were really smooth tournaments. Everybody knew kind of what they were doing. I always added every team captain at the beginning, even an hour before we started, just to get certain issues out of the way first. And sometimes it just worked. We went to the first game and nobody had any issues anymore. And then there were the tournaments where a lot of people had issues, so I had to talk to them. But that wasn't really the problem. The thing that really broke the camel's back in the end was there was one sort of there was one tournament where we had cheating allegations, like scripting allegations.
Yeah.
And since one team immediately jumped into the semifinals because both of their opponents weren't there, they were sitting in the semifinals waiting for the first match that had the scripting allegations. So we first had to check the scripting allegations, then let the team on, then let them play. Meanwhile, I got because we decided, it wasn't cheating. Doctor helped me with that a bit. I got harassed by one of the guys on the team that got that was unbenefited, so to speak. Then at the end of the tournament, after the last game of the tournament, they actually became second in the end. The guy even got banned. So I had to disqualify his team and reorganize the entire bracket. So at that point, Riot said, "No, we're not gonna let you submit those results anymore." And I tried to explain it, all of it. I first submitted the results, and there was no comment box, which there always used to be. And why? Why did you take away the comment box? So I submit the thing. You said, "Yeah, that looks kind of shit. Please do that again." And And if you have any questions, send them to like support. So I sent them to support, and they literally like copy pasted the reason they rejected the first thing into the email back to me. And at that point, I was like, no, I'm not dealing with Riot anymore. I'm not dealing with this tournament anymore. I'm not fucking organizing anymore.
It sounds like a big circus, to be honest.
It was horrible. Like that was the worst day I had at esports, I think.
I can only imagine. But well, to jump back to the original question, so your favorite thing about League of Legends when you cast it is that there are always stuff to talk about. So I'd like to know, what are your favorite thing about being a commentator then?
You know, it's kind of a creative outlet to some extent. You know, I like narratives, and that's always kind of something that's frowned upon to like narratives. And you know, I always try to still stay objective. You know, I wouldn't, for example, as some casters would do, say, I think Team X is gonna win because, you know, they have a great narrative. No, I would still say, yeah, they're probably gonna lose, but it would be great if they won. You know. So for example, like I remember this series Giants versus Alternate.
Yeah.
When Alternate got kicked out of the league.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago, but basically they qualified against Giants in Game 5 because of the like best shockwave of all time from Ferelnod, and in their back match again in promotion relegation. I think it was even the expansion tournament at that point. I think that was the case. So that they again get to Game 5, again get Rumble Oriana, and it's basically like setting Giants back in time to that one moment that crushed their careers. And pulled it out this time and have been in the LCS ever since. Which I kind of even forgot. Like we recently had the Metaphorcast again, and we're sitting there, and
we forgot the team as well.
Forgot a team.
Yeah, we forgot Giants,
and we actually had to look it up which team we lost.
We forgot the team of Giants Gaming, dude. Oh my god, nobody really thinks about that team anymore.
It's like they never pick up like known players, even like washed up players. They always like pick people out of the Challenger series and everything, and I think that's a great thing. But you know, it never really creates hype with me.
Yeah, it doesn't work that much. It doesn't ever
in
really
the
work.
At least, I mean, they have been in the LCS for years now, so at least something has to work there.
Yeah, well, they have never really been top tiered though.
I mean,
well, perhaps
they have been like last season. They have been like 5th best team in the league at least.
So they've been an okay team.
Yeah, they have been an okay team, and I mean that seems to work at least. Like other teams like Schalke immediately get kicked out of the league again.
Yeah. So well, like your favorite thing about being a commentator is the storytelling. That you can tell stories.
That's one of my favorite things, at least. So I can like I can spin a narrative, like even from the champion picks. You know, I can see where this game is supposed to go, and then sort of commentate on that storyline that I have in my head. You know.
Yeah.
Which I always like, and like spinning the narrative throughout the entire cast is something I really enjoy doing. It's it's something I really enjoy. I already said that.
You did.
Another thing that I really like is to sort of exchange ideas with my co-caster. You know, with Doctor, I usually like the thing why it worked with the organizing in the later rounds was because I could just ask him a question and then go over to organizing and have him talk for like 2 minutes or so.
That guy can talk for ages.
Did he tell the story of his first cast Compete League?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay, so he had his first cast at Compete League, and we had like a 10-minute break, and he talked throughout the whole thing. And it was like Yeah, like with his co-caster. So after the cast, they told him, "Yeah, that was very great. You know, you filled that time really great." And he's like, "Wait, you don't have like 10-minute pauses every game?" Which turned out, at least as a streamer, yeah, they actually do have 10-minute pauses every game.
Yeah, but he can really talk for ages. He really can.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah, I kind of got to compete like even with Doctor. There are some crazy stories I could tell if you want to at some point.
I have a lot of crazy stories as well, but with all of that knowledge in our backpack, now that we know some background story about you, can you tell us what is your greatest professional achievement and how did you get to that point?
So, like, I kind of like, on the one hand, it would probably be like now being the head admin at Compete League. Mm-hmm. Like I really didn't expect to go through the ranks that fast, basically, from a streamer to head admin in like 4 months. Mm-hmm. But also one thing that I really thought was great, like as a point in time, was when I got to host the analyst desk at the Compete League finals last season. 3 days of work, but it was all worth it. I think.
Was fun. It was really fun. But well, so being a head admin and hosting the analyst desk at the finals, is that your greatest professional achievement?
I think I haven't really I kind of like casted a LAN once in Lithuania with like, it was the info show LAN in English, but I don't know. First of all, nobody really watched that. Like, to be fair, like they watched it in the beginning, like during that one game where the Lithuanian stream wasn't online yet. I got like, I think even like 600 viewers or something.
Okay.
But they were gone like faster than they appeared.
Yeah, they were just gone like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was a fun weekend. But I think that was basically the biggest thing I've done so far.
Okay, well, then what do you feel is your strengths in terms of casting?
I got a message, and I think I shouldn't answer that right now.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Besides being a great admin and being able to multitask, what is your greatest strength?
I'm not, as we just saw, I'm not able to multitask. Yeah, but as a caster, first of all, as I already said, I can spin a narrative really well throughout cast. Mm-hmm. I think at least as a play-by-play caster, I play a host type of role, where I cast the fights, but outside the fights, I really only ask questions to my co-caster a lot of time and react to his answers in that sense. So I think I can set up my co-caster really well, like my color caster.
Yeah.
I already did color. I also did color casting once.
Yeah.
Once.
And that wasn't that great, or
it was really great. I think it was LCL with Magical Voice last week. Which was really fun. I think like as I said, I love talking.
Okay.
I'm not sure how good my insights were at that cast, but I mean, that's for other people to decide, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so well, you said you like to talk. Could that perhaps also be your weakness if you talk too much?
Is that a jab at me right now?
No, I'm just trying to find out what your biggest weakness is. What you feel like is something you have to improve on.
I sometimes stumble over my words. Mm-hmm. That's one of my weaknesses. I always try to build the perfect sentence, so to speak.
Yeah.
And especially if I cast too long, sometimes I just don't find the word in my head. Like if you watch the LCL cast, like in the last game, like 4th hour, I kind of got stuck a lot on words that just couldn't pop in my head.
I know that feeling.
And the second thing, which kind of, I'm not sure if it disqualifies me as a good play-by-play caster, but at least hinders me as a play-by-play caster, is that because I always want to finish my sentences, I sometimes and want to make cohesive sentences, I sometimes just have a problem casting mid-fight. I really have to set up how a fight is supposed to be going before. Like, I really have to focus. Like, where is the game right now? Who are the major targets, and who do I have to focus on if they die? If something takes me out of the groove, I sometimes have a problem with that.
Well, that is definitely fair enough, and it is something you can work on if you put your mind to it. So now we have to talk about your co-caster. Which qualities do you look for in a co-caster? What kind of co-caster do you think fits the best for Louis TG Armageddon Behrmann?
All right. The answer is Doctor.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, we kind of had a really natural synergy from beginning on. So first of all, he likes to talk. I like to talk. I like to ask him questions. He likes to answer those questions. So that's the thing. What I don't like about Doctor in some instances is that he basically, like, we have a fight and he keeps talking and I have to interrupt him. And after the fight, he still wants to talk about the thing that he talked about before the fight instead of the fight itself.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think a co-caster for me has to sort of also understand where I'm going with my the narrative structure, so to speak. Which most of the time, like, I think I can explain my narrative structure good enough that people know what I'm talking about and can jump on the train, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, we're back to narrative. So basically, you want someone who can work around you in terms of narrative, who can help you create the broadcast, so that they can, like, work together with you in terms of creating the perfect narrative. So I see myself sort of as the narrative director, and I need somebody who can be my analyst, basically. So you're like the movie director, and you need some kind of actress or actor to help you.
Yeah, I'm kind of, you know, in a lot of roles that I have, I'm kind of a setup guy. You know,
yeah.
I like to set up other people to do the best job they can do, so to speak.
Okay, well, where do you go when you need some inspiration in terms of becoming a better caster? If you need some inspiration to perhaps be better at team fighting, or to be better asking questions, where do you go and where do you find it?
A lot of it actually comes from self-reflection, to be honest. Like looking at what you did wrong, and yeah, basically. Also, I watch like a lot of League overall. Not only because I want to become a better caster, but also because I really think the game is really interesting. One of my favorite casters that I kind of looked up to is sadly gone, which is Doa. I think a lot of his style kind of came into mine as well.
Yeah, so jokes and, well, he's definitely a good narrative teller or storyteller. Exactly. So that's definitely true.
So, yeah, it's kind of sad that there were I still watch him in Overwatch sometimes, but yeah, watching Overwatch is always a bit harder, you know.
It's definitely not the same as League, but as Thor being your biggest inspiration in terms of casting, do you see yourself perhaps in 5 years take over his job at the OGN casters booth as a play caster?
I don't know at all where I'm going right now. I took the head admin position, which kind of leads me away from casting. Before I got that offer, I even thought about like, hey, maybe I increase my role as a caster next season in Compete League, and then they told me, hey, you want to be head admin? And I really saw it as a great opportunity, so I jumped on it. I can't. To some extent, I would like to be a caster in the future. But you know, I really don't know. I'm not that goal focused right now. I'm just trying to find out what it even is that I really like to do. You know, I recently had a bit of a personal crisis, and I think I really have to set up a bit more, really get to know myself a bit better in the future, and maybe at 20 years old, that's maybe even the best time to do it, I guess.
Yeah, it might be. So, is it perhaps your dream job then? I have to ask. Is it your dream job to become a caster, or is it to become an admin, or you don't know? I know you're going through a life crisis.
Let me sort of give you my results so far. So first of all, I like to get my hands dirty. I like to be at the front. I like being a caster. I like being an organizer. I like being all these things. I'm a bit struggling even with the admin position in that sense, like in the overarching things. I really like to to help out where I can. Mm-hmm. Would I love to be I would like to be a caster. Honestly, I would like to talk to people about the game, set up a broadcast. I would also like to be, you know, at the side of content creator, which most leagues sort of move to anyways. Mm-hmm. Having either creating content there on their own, you know, sort of, you know, the Riot Primetime League thing, or being the content creator on your own, like you know, Thorin or Monte Cristo were. Like Monte Cristo not so much, but yeah, you know what I mean, I guess.
I do, I definitely do. So I guess we can move away from that now, but I think we got a sufficient answer to that. So well, to the question of what your dream job were. So what is the best advice you've ever been given in terms of casting? Yeah, it's a hard question. I mean, the dog dad's fought a long time over it as well.
I mean, I thought it actually came from me when I said "shut the fuck up" when I'm talking.
It's a good advice. It's a good advice.
But the opposite advice for me came from him to some extent. Is like feel confident to interrupt your co-caster when it's necessary. Mm-hmm. I always try to keep them talking, but sometimes there's a fight and you have to talk, and you really have to shut them down. Also, like in the host position that I also really liked, I had to do so. So yeah, it's kind of like I've been raised as to be polite, to not interrupt other people when they're talking, to listen, and I really like listening. But sometimes you just have to step in and say, "Hey, I really have to talk right now. Shut up, please." Yes. Like not say that, but basically give that vibe. Yeah. When interrupting.
Okay, I totally understand you. Sometimes you just have to tell your co-caster that right now I need to talk, I need to do this team fight or this skirmish, and it's not always easy to be the co-caster in that sense, or at least the colleague caster when you're working together with a play-by-play caster as you are a play-by-play caster after all. So now I'd like to know which game or series has been the best League of Legends series that you have ever seen. Is it the Rocks Tigers, or is it a Super Frost versus Gambit game, or a Moscow 5, I guess they were called at that time? What is your favorite one?
You know that there are always two answers to that. Is one what you think is the best one, and one which you like to watch the most?
Yeah.
So first of all, I only started like playing in season 2, and I really at the end of season 2, I liked watching Worlds, but I really didn't know what I was talking about. Didn't know what was really like strategically going on. So I really didn't have a perspective at that. Like one of the best series, obviously, was Rocks Tigers versus SKT Worlds 2016. Worlds 2015 was not that good. I was actually there in Berlin. It was a nice experience, but yeah, the series in and of itself wasn't that great. 2016, they really came close, though. It was always kind of the Rocks Tigers always just try to catch back up. They were never really dictating the game, and that's one of the biggest strengths that SKT has shown throughout the time, that they know how to dictate a game, that they know how to force the other team to play to their fiddle, basically. And a lot of that comes down to came down, at least. It's now over. The Faker Bengi sort of synergy. Yeah. They always like to, run into the enemy jungle, shut their jungler down, be faster than the other mid laner, be more coordinated. I hope they can rebuild that with Peanut and Faker. I think it can work, definitely. I don't think it can work with Blank. I think that was always kind of the problem that they had with Blank, that they were never really able to get that perfect synergy where both players knew when to go into a jungle and really do their job there.
Yeah.
Coming to the favorite series I've ever had, that was OGN Finals 2014 summer between the KT Arrows and Samsung Blue. It was hype as as a truck. No, but it was great. Cacao is still like what. I said I like narrative, and Cacao, he really has that narrative.
He's a great jungler.
He's a great jungler. He had the setback with the KT Bullets 2013. Then he built back up, became the star of the KT Arrows, which was supposed to be the weaker team at that point to the Bullets. And they built it up. Then he had a good synergy with Rookie. He really liked to play super aggressive, and then in the finals he kind of got it for his team. They beat Samsung Blue, which I never thought was possible, honestly. And they sadly didn't make it to Worlds after that, which was really sad. Now Cacao obviously in Europe with the Misfits.
And he's definitely not a misfit there.
No, he's working well there. He's even he isn't the same as on the Arrows back then. He's not the main carry anymore. He sometimes is the carry, definitely, but he's not the only carry. He even played on, I think, Ivern, and Power of Evil kind of took out the game at that point. So I really am excited for the Misfits team this season. But yeah, that's not really to the question anymore. So yeah, my favorite series of all time, KT Arrows versus Samsung Blue, was so hype.
It was awesome. I do remember that game as well, and the series, and it was a great one. So now I know you like a little bit of a hype, a little bit of a high tempo game. Do you remember which game has been your favorite to cast as a commentator?
It kind of all blurs together, honestly.
There's not like one that stands out.
Not really, honestly.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Also, it's kind of a long time ago at this point. Like my last games that I like, the last games of the weekly tournaments we made for Cyber League is like 6 months ago now, and but I always liked casting that, but I never really had it's weekly tournament stuff, so you always kind of have somewhat low
low quality games,
Or
not
low quality.
not with a lot of team play, and
Mhm.
I get what you're saying. So,
Though one thing,
mhm.
I casted a player back then called Javiles, who is now on an LCL team.
Mm-hmm.
Which I didn't think that anybody from those weeklies was any worth, but yeah, he's on the LCL team now, which is nice.
Okay, well, that's great to remember. Always nice to see people evolve as a player.
I know you have your caps.
Yeah, I love Caps. Caps is my Danish wonder boy. Anyways, well, let's move on to the last question, and this is a little bit more of a personal question to once again get to know you a bit more. What is your favorite movie?
I mean, that's always like that's a bit of an unanswerable question because you watch a lot of movies that you like in your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you a style that I really like, which is sort of the Edgar Wright comedy style, somewhat also in the direction of Tarantino. So I really like the Cornetto trilogy. I like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs,
Kill Bill.
Basically most of Tarantino's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I also like. Do you know Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
Yes, I do.
Snatch. After that was also great. I like In Bruges. Do you know In Bruges?
I don't think so.
In Bruges is fantastic. It's with like Colin Farrell. So that it's like about two gangsters who are supposed to like hide in Bruges, and like the one guy really hates Bruges, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
So comedy movies in general is
it's comedic, but it also has like some heavy hitting stuff, but a bit later, which is amazing. I love sort of the British humor as well.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I always also is the word I was looking for. I was like, is like some anime, though it's mostly like series, not movies.
Mm-hmm.
Though I do like, have you seen, Yuki Wolf Children?
No, I don't think so.
It's a good one of you. German creeping into my language. You see, when I talk too long, I kind of get exhausted. But yeah, it's definitely good. Also, like my favorite anime series of all time is probably Steins Gate.
Mm-hmm.
Should really watch that one again at some point. So yeah, that's kind of like I love like smart storytelling. I love that when details like fit together really nicely. Like, do you know that all the one-liners in Hot Fuzz's finale have been mentioned at some point in the movie before? Like at the
didn't know that.
in the final confrontation scenes, like as soon as he returns to the city, all the one-liners that come up, and they're like hundreds, not hundreds, but like at least 20 one-liners after that point. They all have been mentioned at least once before, which is amazing.
Okay, well, so comedies is a bit what dear Louis Behrmann likes, if I get it correctly.
Yeah, I think it's like it has so
comedy
much
dramas.
Like, good comedy has so much creativity behind it. That's just what I really like about it. It has so much. Like, I'm a bit of a perfectionist at some points, so I really like if every word like kind of fits together.
Mm-hmm.
Some dramas also get that. Some action movies as well. Like, I don't know, but like really, being funny is a lot harder than being sad, or than evoking the feeling of sadness.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Now we are nearing the end of the interview. Is there something you'd like to add before we round out?
I mean, I still have some stories that I can tell. I can tell you why Cyber League collapsed because somebody owed me 40 euros.
I think we've gotten enough of your stories, Louis, but thank you for coming out here, man. I really enjoyed interviewing you. It was nice to once again talk to you. And to all the viewers, remember you can find me over on Facebook and Twitter, and you can also find TG Armageddon over on Twitter. So that's it for this interview. Also, remember you can find us over on Compete League's broadcasts. So that is definitely somewhere you can find both me and Louis starting Monday.
Next week.
That's actually not
next week. That's actually before this video comes out, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be in the week that this video comes out in.
Yeah, maybe Monday, definitely Tuesday.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.